Welcome to another edition of Talk with Confidence. This is where we have inspirational conversations with inspirational people. Today I have a guest here. Well, actually I have two guests. In studio with me I have Fatuma, who's a children's books author, and she's also founder of Literary Circles. She's going to tell us a little bit more about that. Fatuma, welcome.
Thank you so much, Confidence.
Yeah, thank you for honoring the invite.
No, thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad.
We're excited. We're going to get to you in a little bit.
Okay.
We want to start with this young lady here.
That's fine.
Who is she and what does she do?
Okay, Akiki, she's an Afrocentric African girl. And her intention is to teach children and to entertain children as well. So the birth of Akiki, basically, I'm sure you know the story given we've met in different circles.
Yes.
But as I said, I felt what was lacking in the markets was a character that could relate to our kids. I'm a mother, I have a daughter and a son. So I think it was when I was bringing her up, and then after that, later, when I started thinking about the toys that she plays with and the books that she reads, and I thought, there's something missing in this picture.
Yeah.
Where does she see herself represented in this? And the more I looked at it, I was like, my goodness. I mean, when I say, normally when I'm grown and you're told a black, strong woman, reference points, we normally have our mothers. But I think now consciously with kids, it needs to start at a very early stage.
Yeah,
so even when you're playing and when you're reading, you need to read books where you have characters that look like you, so you identify, because kids then see where they fit into the bigger picture. Because now, till today I have my son, sometimes he asks me, so how come all those people are peach? That they call them peach, not white. But I don't know if it is politically correct, but for them now in school, So he'd be like, so why is this? And then I'm like, we need a lot more representation, given that we are growing in the continent. How much do they know about our continent? How much do they, when it comes to identifying and see black characters in a positive manner? So it all starts from a very young age.
I guess it's on a deep psychological level. It's all about self-esteem.
It is.
Because if there are no positive black characters or any black characters that have been shown, then it almost feels like, then do I matter?
And you start feeling inferior. So you go into a situation where then you have all your other friends who are white and stuff, and you're just like holding yourself back because you're not really seeing where they fit in. For them, it is normal because they are books. Even for me, I have been reading Disney character books, which was not yet, Sleeping Beauty. Not that they're bad, but I'm just saying, so I'm just saying for us, and the stories need to be more, I said, celebrating Africa, for instance. My house is a melting pot. I'm Kenyan originally. My husband is from Botswana. The kids are born here.
So
then after that, I tell them being African is like a unique thing, and this is the right time. So we try and teach them a bit about here, teach them a bit about boss, teach them. And then I'm like, once you identify and you connect with your continent, even when you go out there and represent, you don't start feeling inferior. You're like, this is us, this is who we are, and we're proud to be, African.
And I think there's a quote I love that says, until the lion learns to ride, then every story will glorify the hunter. And in terms of telling Africa stories, you've got your CNNs, your BBC, other international platforms who always show Africa in a particular light. They'll never take you to the sentient parts of Africa. They'll never take you to the thriving parts of Africa. There's always one narrative, that poverty, hunger, disease. And in your books, I see the stories where you go to Botswana, where you go to different parts. What stories are you telling in your books?
Okay, mine are, because the kids are growing up now, so I'd like them to read stories that expose them to the rest of Africa.
Yes.
You're right, when the hunter tells the story, they're telling from their perspective.
Yes.
But this is like Akiki now from an African family, and we're going to Bots,
Yes.
and we're going to Malume's village. So you see, now it is her experience in the story. So even when the kids go there, then they understand. I mean, like in Bots, you have, what is it, Seswa, which is the traditional the traditional dish, the
Yes.
meat, shredded meat.
Yes.
We love sasua.
Yeah.
But you see, then we bring it, Akiki comes and that is her favorite food and then she eats it. So the stories, and for me, I say because I also grew up in urban township areas, so I don't know like the rule for carrying water on your head.
Yeah.
My daughter even can't understand that. She'll be looking at me like, seriously? So now I can't tell that story. I'm sure there are people who can tell that story.
Yes.
But my story is more in the urban center. So Akiki, that's why I say she's urban Afro-centric.
Wow,
so
nice.
it is there. It's your daughter who would grow up, anybody else's daughter who grows up, because we are now growing up in town.
In urban
so it would be,
environments,
so it would be for us even when we are going on holidays. Then after that we go to the Drakensberg, say for example.
Yes.
So it would be camping. The kids
Yes.
can easily relate
That's
and go back
beautiful.
to school and say, oh yeah, we went camping in
Yeah.
Drakensberg. Or if we went to Nairobi, where did we go? We went to the park. This is what we did. So, but then it's in terms of you're seeing now that country in a light which is one positive. For me, I'd just be talking about the positive because I see positivity
Definitely.
So there's that, and then the kids also, for them, it's almost like an adventure. I want to go there elsewhere. I mean, in where she goes to Nairobi, she went to how can I say? It's like a nyama choma place, which here we'd call shisanyama.
Shisanyama, all right.
Yes. So when you go there, and then there's roast meat, and then you have the music playing in the background.
The cultural richness and essence,
So for in the Nairobi, we even have Malaika, and I remember teaching my kids the song Malaika, and they were like,
the Marimake was Malaika.
yes, it started with us. But yeah, funny enough, how I recall the song is that it used to be sung by drunk men, you know, when they're done from the bars, and then they say Malaika nakupenda Malaika.
Wow.
So so those are the things that are authentically ours and which I love about us. I'd love to pass to my kids.
Yeah.
But another thing is the context in which I'll be telling them is context in the stories. If you go to Nairobi, there are certain things. And then also what I've added in the books is a bit of the vernacular language.
Okay, wonderful.
So like in Drakensberg, you have a bit of Zulu. When you go to Botswana, it's a bit of Tswana.
That's
And then
beautiful.
after that in Nairobi, we
that.
have a bit of Swahili.
I love that.
So I remember another child told me, I now know 3 languages.
Wow.
I said, yeah, because
Through the book.
Yeah, if you just say hello in like 3 languages across Africa,
You
that's
know
that. So my
You
dream,
can connect.
very quickly, and it also helps. I always say when you speak to people in their language, you're not just speaking like this. You start touching here.
The heart. You
Yeah,
speak to the heart.
yeah,
That's
and then
beautiful.
it's more welcoming because then you've made an effort. So yeah, that's what I always try to do. So when you go somewhere new, you understand, because instead of us starting to judge quickly, what is that? I normally don't do this. You open up to understand the culture and stuff like that.
And you
so
learn
it's
more.
for our kids, because it's all about learning and learning to accept and embrace Africa.
Beautiful.
And how else can we do that? Through the books. And then after that, for the girls, they have Akiki.
The characters. When I look at Akiki and I look at you, there are some similarities. I see the big afro.
Well, I wish my afro was as good. You know, my afro. I still have to work on my afro. But a lot of people have said that, but it wasn't something that I did consciously and said, I'm going to make me.
Yeah.
It's just that it was only later. In fact, I didn't even think about it. It's when someone told me, he's like, do you know you look so much like that? I was like, no.
But I mean, when something is born out of you, it will carry your DNA.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I look at her, she could be your daughter.
This is what I call. I had another lady say, "Mama Akiki." I was like, okay, that would go as well. Yeah, no, I think if you're working, especially if you're working from the heart and your intentions are good, somehow. It's like if I hear you and your work, I know that is confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's when it's authentically true to yourself, then after that it comes out. But otherwise, no, she's not, I did not go and decide.
No.
I mean, sometimes even when I read the stories to my children, they're always my guinea pigs. So as soon as I've done the manuscript, we go and I'd start. And then my son would be like, oh, okay, but that sounds like me. I'm like, yeah, because I'm drawing from their experiences
and
when we go to places,
that's beautiful.
because I can say that is true to me.
Yeah.
That's why I said I can't write about rural. Rural Nairobi.
It won't be authentic to who you are.
Because I don't know. I'm authentic to the life that you're in, but how to put it in a positive light that it can help other children out there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
How old is Akiki?
Akiki, she's about 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the idea of creating this character is 5 years old, or did you think about it long before?
Actually,
what was the journey?
No. The journey actually, as I'm saying, she starts evolving. Of course, initially I was just like, I want a black doll for my daughter. So then I said, no, I'm sure I can do bigger things. Not I can do, but I think the message needs to get
bigger,
out there.
broader,
it needs to broader, because it's not just about me. It's all about, and it's also when you go to situations and you start seeing, but this could be better. I mean, there's a time someone on Facebook sent me a clip, and she's like, "You need to do something about it." It was a black girl, and she had Barbie dolls lying around. It's like there's something wrong with this picture. I was like, I'm glad you see there's something wrong. But funny enough, the other person did not see something wrong with that picture.
But it's such a subtle thing as well.
I know, but I said, if we become conscious, because I even said for other parents as well, because now instead of, I mean, even with the toys and everything, because you want the best for your kids. So you want to pick up stuff that will help them along the way. I can't be there 24/7, but at least if you have the books and the tools that would help you get to the next level, then I think this is a starting point.
Wonderful.
So even as I'm saying, toys and the books you read, my son is not an avid reader, but I know if I leave books lying around and he has no choice, he'll find him doing this.
He'll pick it up.
So that's what I said. I'm like, no, leave the right tools there. He'll get bored, do everything else, and then later he'll just be like, let me just pick this book. And then soon he'll find it is interesting.
And get more deeper into it.
Yeah, so slowly you learn, because even kids, anyway, they've got different paces and everything else. So it's not cut and paste, you force them. So at that point in time, I'm just like, but have the stuff that looks like them. Because my daughter, she's not like a doll person, but when her friends come over and they meet Akiki, it's almost like, oh my goodness, yes. And I also tell her, take her to your play date, so that other kids also see that, oh no, okay, there are other types of dolls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In terms of the overall reception to Akiki, to the books, I mean, it's one thing that's quite obvious is that there is a need for this type of ideas, and there should be more. So what has the reception been, especially from the audience that is targeted at, which I believe is black parents and young black kids? What has the reception been?
The reception has been good. I mean, social media has been good because I don't have the capital to go and do the whole retail have a shop thing, which also makes sense at the beginning. So, but I think people get it, because when you start asking the questions, then and then I think especially for us, we're like, we never had black dolls, at least pretty black dolls. So either you'd find them, I used to say those dark ones, the ones that look like my tea, and you're like, I wouldn't even buy for her. So, but then now we then relate and say, actually, why don't we? So I think for parents, it's almost like conscious parenting. The stuff that I put in front of my child, the stuff to build you, stuff to make you, and as you pointed out, self-image, self-esteem. Because like even Akiki, I didn't create a skinny doll. Because I'm like, there's a lot of pressure enough when you start getting to those ages where you need to be skinny, and those are not things to focus on as a child. Just grow, be you. Everything else then after that starts taking shape much later. So so in terms of the conversations of skinny waist, that's why Akiki, I say a chunky girl. But I said, let girls play with girls.
Exactly.
I mean, the children's innocence and purity is so honest. And then life as you have it. By the time the world starts teaching you lessons,
you've got the foundation, you've got a lot of
you have character. So instead of you knowing that, like my daughter now, she likes my hair when she likes calling it poof. She's like, mommy, I like your poofy. Before we never used to have this conversation, because it used to be like, when she goes to school and people have got straight hair and she's thinking, maybe looks better.
That's the definition of beautiful hair.
But because then after that, if you see the TV advert and the ladies,
they're all wavy and
And then you're like, oh yeah, that looks good. But so now the more you see that, no, your hair, the way it is just fine. But I think for black women, our choices are even like beyond, because today can have it here, tomorrow it is here. And so I'm like, no, our choices are big.
In terms of literacy circles, you're the co-founder of Literacy Circles. What is the vision and what is Literacy Circles?
Okay, Literacy Circles, I mean, after being into literacy, because now I found out reading is, I mean, it's nice. I do storytelling for the kids, but storytelling you also find out in terms of, I'm an avid reader, I like reading books. And books open you to a whole new world. Yeah, you learn a lot. Definitely. You don't have to like go to, I don't know, go to Alaska to find out what happens. If you
can open a book and go there.
And go there mentally, which is even more beautiful because it is just you discovering how it is.
And using the power of imagination.
Mind, and everything. So then after that I said, okay, you get the kids to really enjoy this, but also they're learning language in terms of picking up, my books are in English and then you have a bit of, but in terms of vocabulary as well. So then I said, I think it is important, but how do you draw the books? Because my son, when you do school, school is associated with reading. So when I want to relax, I don't want to see a book.
It's and the opposite,
exactly. So now you're trying to put in books as, no, this is also fun.
You can relax with books as well.
So that's why you start with story time. So story time would be, we're all relaxed, we're all sitting, and then after that, you know what? Did you hear this story about this? So if it is an Akiki story, we'll be reading. So she went here, and then what did she do? And then, so it becomes more interactive. So then after that, they don't look at that book as, no, this is cool. You're learning in a fun way.
Exactly.
So story time, I think is very critical for kids. Like almost from when they're in nappies, because then they learn and they see you with books. So books start becoming part of the culture. We know for us, we need to ingrain it more into the culture, where we need to like. I mean,
make reading a priority in the home.
Exactly. Yeah, you make it a priority in the home, because I even tell parents, if you're not reading a newspaper, you don't pick up a book. You can't shout at your child
for not reading,
because they're looking at you. Kids learn a lot from us. So if daddy comes home, the first thing,
then that's how we behave here.
And then you tell him, go and read. It's like, what am I reading?
You have to model what you want them to become.
So like even me, like on Saturdays, normally it is, I say no TV until probably in the afternoon. So everybody picks up a book. I don't want to read. I'm like, go do what it is you need to do. But there's nothing.
No TV.
Yeah, but as I said, finally when someone is totally bored,
pick up a book.
They'll go to their shelf and start looking, okay, I'll read this. But as long as they get into that culture of reading, because until you find the right book that opens
to you.
Yes, and then you start wanting to know more.
Yeah.
So the same thing with, that's how now Literacy Circle started being born. Because then I met another lady. She's, Help a Child Grow. She's called Matilda. So she does Help a Child Grow, which also does the helping of reading for kids. But I said it would be nice for us to work together, whereby actually we found each other when we were actually going for a competition for something else. And then she was doing this, and she's the one who said, actually, I think Akiki could help us. And I was like, okay, because I'm into reading for children. I do story time, but let us do story time with the purpose of having it to grow into something. So then we decided on Literacy Circles. So Literacy Circles, what we look to do is to go into schools and then read the stories. But not only reading, we've also decided to do a bit of dramatization. Because there's the reading of the book, and then there's the character actually appearing there. And then, you're engaging with, if it is in that instant where you went for the book launch, it is Akiki. So the kids are like, oh! They see, that is her, that is the book, and then they really pick up.
That's beautiful. I mean, in terms of the progression of Akiki. So she started there. And then she came here.
No, she actually
so she started here. She went there. And I see your T-shirt as well. So the brand is growing. Where do you see Akiki in 10 years' time? What impact do you want the concept to have? Do you see it being available? I mean, if you go to any retail store, you'll find your Barbies, the
Of course, my dream for her is to be at arm's reach. You know, I was taking that Bill Gates thing whereby Microsoft should be at arm's reach.
Everybody
He got his dream, thank you.
Yeah.
So my same thing with Akiki, actually the very first time I was asked that, I said, she needs to be at arm's reach. So whereby if you want a book, you'll have a book. If you want a doll, you can have a doll. And then the thing is, but for her is, I'd like her to travel across Africa. I'd like her to go all the way to Egypt to see the pyramids in Egypt, to go all the way to West Africa, to eat a bit of Niger food and come back.
To and go tell us about it.
Yeah, but you see, it is them coming, because they said, when you're teaching kids about this, then they also grow up knowing that, oh yeah, if I go here, this is the stuff. And I remember reading it when I was young. So it becomes an aspiration to where you want to go, and also to embrace it because you've seen it in a positive sense. And then my other thing for me is also, when you're teaching kids, there's always, I've tried to run away from it, I can't. So there's also cartoon time.
Yes. That would be awesome to see. Yeah.
So then after that,
Akiki on TV.
So then when she's entertaining and teaching, so there are also lines, because they said, you see the kids when they watch, they always have a favorite line from a character. And that is the one they listen to more than they listen to mommy. So
but mommy can be teaching them through.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So for me, the essence of Akiki is just in terms of all in an African setting, but she needs to be teaching kids morals. Because life many lessons, times, life lessons, basic life skills. Like in one of the books, like saying the way she goes to Botswana, she was overeating. So then after that, now next time she understands you don't need to eat.
Just eat moderately.
Exactly.
What you need,
And then there's where she goes to Drakensberg. Her mom tells her wear a helmet. Her afro is too big. She doesn't want to wear it. Throws it. Falls down. Then what?
Wow.
So you see, just in terms of listening, in this Akiki short stories, you have a story about sharing. Because sometimes your kids have stuff and they tend to think, I want some more. But then they also need to understand the other people who don't have.
Exactly.
And when you give, you don't give that broken toy that... Because the kids immediately, I say, human beings, we are funny. You start with the things that I don't want. But then I'm like, you can't give somebody something
that you don't want.
You need to.
It must have value for you.
Exactly. So also when you give that person, then after that they're able to receive it with open arms, and you also want the best for that person.
Wow.
So for me that was, in fact, the first time I told the kids to give something away, it was always I said.
But that's character building 101, and the lessons that they learn at that foundational phase, they carry them into adulthood
because
as well.
In school you're taught a lot of the technical bits. So you're good at mathematics, good at English, good at stuff. But then I say in the real world, and when you talk about being a human being, it's about character. So it's about sharing. It's about helping the other person. And when you start embracing the other people as well, then I won't learn to judge you too quickly, because I've been exposed to so many other things. I'd want to know, okay, so why is it you behave this way? Or why is it you do your hair that way? Rather than saying, she doesn't like it. You know, it's always, at least you better be curious rather than being judgmental. But how we can learn to foster that in the kids is expose them to stuff that's very different from them. Because then
expand their mind.
In fact, the other day I was just telling my daughter, you need to have a positive attitude, because otherwise life is just going to take you left, right and center. So be open to stuff. So if it is a book that's different, as parents also, because at this time we're the ones who are buying, they're not going. So when you're giving stuff to your kids, it needs to be something that's open. I said, even as we're still learning.
And be conscious of what you're giving them. Yes,
because when you're cautious and when you're open, then it leads you to learning a lot, and then you understand a lot, and life is a bit smoother.
Fatuma, what you're doing is extremely important. We need more people with your vision and your ideas.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I've loved it. And thank you, Akiki. Maybe you should do have what do you call ventriloquist?
Oh yeah, well she's talking. This time I went for an interview. She held Akiki up. She's like, okay, I'll talk on the like she's the one introducing the program. But I think as she becomes a character, because I said when I started with the doll, I had her character packed up. But this is just the physical bit. She doesn't talk. She doesn't do anything. Representation. Here in the books, you can see she's talking. You're seeing her family. You've seen her brother. You've seen her mom and dad. So I think the more she's evolving as well, then it will be a character which we can all relate to.
Wonderful. And in terms of if people want to get your books, the dolls.
The books. First I have the website www.akikidolls.com. That's where you can find everything. And then the books for the South African markets are also available at Scoobs, the bookstore.
Theatre Books Monte Cassino.
Yes, and then also on takealot.com.
Wonderful.
For ease of now that it comes to Christmas, everyone wants to go online.
Fatuma, thank you once again.
No, thank you so much.
It's been such a pleasure.
No, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed myself. Thank
you. That was inspirational. I'm inspired. I'm sure you're inspired as well. And that was Talk with Confidence, conversations that inspire. Do join us again next time right here on Global Conference TV. 8